Hi, out of the box here. Today I'm going to explain the first part of a drama mini-series called Clickbait. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The starting of the scene appears as Andrea Brewer's birthday party. Her family has accumulated to celebrate the event. Her child scratch girl, Pia, along with her Nick spouse Sophie, get Andrea a birthday show. Pia is disillusioned to see that the show could be a planter when she had inquired Sophie to induce a bread creator instead. She makes snarky comments to Sophie, approximately her thoughts being weak. Nick gets frantic at her for disrespecting his spouse and inquires her to take off the party instantly. Nick and Sophie's children, Ethan and Kai, see it, the grown-ups battling in frightfulness. Pia embarrassingly clears out and goes to the club. She drinks a lot and moves wildly to disregard what happened prior. At some point afterward, she is within the club's lavatory, texting a man named Woody, who she coordinated on a dating app. She writes him to meet her, but accidentally drops her phone within the can when she gets up to flush. In the following scene, she is in her loft, putting her phone in rice, so it would douse all the water and repair itself. The following day, she drives to the clinic where she works as a nurse. She is assisting a persistent as he appears her curiously recordings online to keep himself occupied. In one of the recordings, Pia's brother Nick is holding up a card that says, "I mishandle ladies." He at that point holds up a distinctive card that says, "At 5 million views I die." He appears to be beaten and frightened, as in case somebody is making him hold the signs. Pia is stunned and doesn't know what's going on. She surges to the hospital's phone to call Nick, but the call goes straight to voicemail. She at that point calls Nick's wife Sophie, but she doesn't choose up either. Pia monstrosities out and surges to Nick's work. She at that point inquires his associate Matt about him. Matt claims that he hasn't seen him since the morning. Pia shows him the video, which stresses Matt, so he inquires his other associate Dawn if she saw Nick. The two discover that he missed his 8 o'clock assembly and hasn't been to work. However, Pia is presently more stressed than ever, so she surges to the school where Sophie instructs. She barges inside indeed, when the guard cautions her not to. Sophie gets freed of the protection and observes the video herself. She is as stunned as Pia to observe it. Concurring to her, Nick cleared out for work as regular within the morning, so the video makes no sense. The two at that point go to the police to file a lost report. On their way, the views in Nick's video come to 9,000 and continue to increase quickly. The case is taken care of by a police criminologist named Roshan Armari. The analyst inquires them a few questions, approximately Nick, and centers on the portion around him attacking ladies. Sophie calmly answers all his questions, but Pia gets irritated. She and Roshan appear to know each other, but don't act on the reality. Sophie gets a call from her more seasoned child Ethan, and goes back domestic to them. The boys are distressed to see the video of their father. Ethan is on his tablet attempting to get to the Find My Fam app, which might appear where Nick is. In any case, the app cannot discover his area since his phone is turned off. The video has come to 300,000 views in a fearsome hours, and everybody in the comments is calling Nick a creature. Sophie tells the kids to not watch the video anymore and halt attending to school for the time being. Pia returns back to her loft to see that her phone is at long last working. She finds a voicemail from Nick in which he apologizes for their battle the past day and says there are things he ought to conversation around with her. Pia plays the voicemail on repeat, whereas driving to her mother Andrea's house. She inquires Andrea if she has talked to Nick that day, but Andrea says she hasn't. Pia picks to not tell her about the situation so she wouldn't stress. Fair at that point, she gets content from Sophie inquiring her to come to the police station immediately. There, the two discover that another video of Nick has been transferred to the site. In this one, he holds a card that says "I slaughtered a woman." Since the case has turned into murder, Detective Roshan's competitive colleague, that Zach DeLuca, is included to explore the case. After watching the video, Pia instantly recognizes that the primary two signs were in Nick's handwriting. The third one isn't. Luca accepts that the video can be a confession and inquires the woman on the off chance that Nick is known to be savage. A rankled Sophie tells him that Nick wouldn't harm anybody, man or lady. Pia moreover counters by saying Nick is the casualty and the analyst should do something before the video comes to 5 million views. When Sophie and Pia come out of the police station, Pia appears to Sophie the voicemail she got and inquires about her in the event that she should appear to the police. But Sophie needs to keep the mail on the move, since Nick sounds regretful in it, which wouldn't offer assistance in their case as the police as of now suspect him to be a killer. As they talk, Sophie gets a call from a journalist who needs to meet her. The two get more apprehensive since the call. The video presently has over 1.5 million views. A nervous Pia goes to her computer genius companion Vince, inquires him to some way or another discover Nick's area. Vince says that finding out Nick's location is past his reach, but he has made a bolster where individuals from around the world are exploring Nick's case and making a difference to search for him. Pia doesn't accept that a simple website can discover her brother, but increases in value the assistance besides. After that, she makes way to Nick's house and is drawn closer by a columnist's exterior. Pia shouts at her to remain out of the private property and goes interior. The disillusioned Andrea goes up against her for keeping Nick vanishing from her. She apologizes and checks up on Nick's child Ethan, who appears to be calm and playing diversions at the time of emergency. When Pia goes back to her flat, the video has made the news since of its notoriety. Abruptly, her programmer companion Vince arrives with critical data. The individuals within the back found out that the video was taken in a particular kind of conveyance van by analyzing the images within the foundation. Pia much obliged Vince and takes the proof to the police. They start to explore for the particular van through the traffic cameras, whereas Pia holds up outside, going with Nick's associate Matt. After a while, she refreshes the site and sees that the views have come to 5 million. Fair at that point, Roshan and the officers come exterior, claiming that they have found the van. Everybody rapidly surges to the area with a SWAT group, as it were to discover that the van is purged. They look around the zone but discover nothing. At last, the police conclude that Nick was not within the van when it was arranged of. Back at the police station, Luke allots tasks to all the officers included within the case, but excludes Roshan, since he isn't from the homicide division, and his administrations are not required. When Roshan tries to strike back, Luke inquires him to go with Sophie to her domestic. Exterior her house, Sophie is mobbed by the reporters. Roshan escorts her inside to see that the house is being examined for proof. Several police officers spread around searching for anything critical clue that they can discover. The kids inquire about Sophie, if Nick has been found, and she guarantees them he will be back before long. Just at that point Luke arrives at the house and seizes all the family members' phones so they can extricate information that can possibly offer assistance to them with the case. The family is doubtful about the method, saying that they are being treated as suspects. Everybody hands their phone except for Pia, who says that hers is at her flat since it is broken. Amidst the look, Pia goes out to smoke. Roshan takes after her behind for a chat. As the two talk, we discover that they have been chatting with each other through a dating app for a long time. In reality, sometime recently Pia's phone dropped within the latrine. She was arranging to meet Roshan. She inquires him to keep her in the circle with anything that happens with the case. In any case, Roshan uncovers he has been removed from it since he is from the Lost Individual Division. He proposes Pia asks the sergeant to put him on the case, and Pia concurs. Afterward, Roshan is looking at the house on his possess when he sees Ethan in his room with a tablet. Eden says that it was his father's ancient tablet no one uses any longer. Roshan still inquires for it to see in case it has something vital, but Ethan demands he needs it to screen the look. He clarifies that Nick's case has developed so well known that individuals have set up an app called Jonaking devoted to his search. In the app, individuals go around zones within the city where Nick can possibly be found and look for him. The regions that have as of now been looked at are stamped off the outline in red. This piques Roshan's interest and he takes the tablet for himself. He at that point goes to the police station and appears the app to the sergeant. But she isn't within the support of including the civilians within the look. Roshan too appears heard the content messages that were extricated from Ethan's phone, where he talks about a huge battle between his parents. When Roshan walks outside of the sergeant's office, criminologist Luca condescendingly inquires him to go domestic. Roshan at that point makes his way to a location that hasn't been looked through geonicking, and finds two young people looking for Nick's body. With no advance, Roshan visits the mosque, and after that is domestic. His parents had seen him in the news prior, and are pleased with him for working on such a big case. They inquire him when he is planning to be advanced to the murder division, but Roshan expels the address. The taking after day, Sophie makes an official explanation to the columnists, asking Nick's criminals not to harm him. Afterward, Pia inquires Roshan to meet her alone in his car, and appears him the voice message Nick had cleared out her sometime recently after his vanishing. Roshan is irritated at her for not giving them the data sooner, but Pia protects herself by saying they can go through her phone presently. He inquires her what problem Roshan needed to convert to her approximately, but Pia doesn't know it either. Roshan at that point goes to the sergeant and tells her approximately the newfound data. He moreover comes clean approximately his relationship with Pia sometime recently after Nick's vanishing. After that, he returns back to his work area, as it were to discover the pictures from his dating profile, pasted all over his station. Luca chuckles at him for it. The rankled Roshan faults him for being unfair towards him since of his religion. But Luca claps back saying that Roshan isn't a group player, and is using this case to induce advanced. The following day, Nick's bicycle is found by the side of a disengaged street. The police search there and investigate the scene. Before long, a purge syringe is found adjacent. They conclude that it was utilized to kidnap Nick. After the examination, Nick goes to Sophie's domestic, and is gotten by her mother Ruby. He illuminates the family around Nick's bicycle being found and inquires to talk to Sophie in private. He inquires her about Nick's voicemail to Pia, to which she uncovers their battle the night earlier. At that point, Roshan asks in the event that Sophie and Nick were confronting a few conjugal issues sometime recently his disappearance. Sophie, unsettled by the address, claims that the status of their relationship has nothing to do with Nick's vanishing. Roshan gets suspicious and straightforwardly inquires about her in case she knows where her spouse is. Sophie looks at him in incredulity and inquires to induce him out of the house. Next, he goes to Pia's apartment to discover her watching the geonicking app. He inquires about almost her battle with Nick, as if it were to be rejected. In the long run, she tells them she and Nick are closer than most kin, but he had been acting in an unexpected way for many months. They got in a battle because she called him out on it. She too uncovers that on walk 16th, he came to her with bruises, and told her to keep it a mystery from Sophie. As they talk, the geonicking app appears Nick's body has been found. Roshan and Pia rapidly surge to the area where a swarm of individuals surrounds Nick's body. Be that as it may, getting closer to it, they see that the body is fair model with Nick's confront stuck on it as a joke. After the incident, Roshan drops Pia off at her apartment, where Nick's co-worker Matt is holding up her outside. She and Matt go interior as Roshan drives away. At night, the analyst employments the Discover My Fam app to see where Nick was on 16th walk. He finds out he was at a bar, and visits the proprietor the taking after day. Whereas observing the CCTV footage, he sees that Nick had gotten into a battle with an obscure man that day. Afterward, he calls Pia to the police station, and appears her the video of the battle. Pia murmurs of alibi shot that they, at last, have a lad and much appreciated Roshan for working difficult on the case. After Pia takes off, Roshan presents his thought around the geonicking to Luca, who rejects him, to begin with, but concurs to go on a look besides. They reach the woods by a deserted street, where Roshan at long last finds Nick's decaying dead body in an adjacent stream. Within the following scene, we see Roshan walk up to Pia in her flat, and inform her of the dead body being found. Indeed, in spite of the fact that Pia had anticipated this, she breaks down crying on the floor grieving her brother's passing. The following day, Roshan is invited to the police station with praise. The sergeant advances him to the manslaughter office, and indeed Luca acclaims him for his great work. He at that point makes a difference for his colleague to go through Sophie's socials. Whereas working, Roshan takes note of a picture of Sophie with a man who looks just like the fellow Nick got into a battle at the bar. An astounded Roshan reacts and affirms that it is the same man. In the following scene, we see Sophie at the police station. Roshan formally informs her of her husband's passing. She freezes on hearing the news, and inquires the analyst how he passed on. Luca uncovers that he had a head injury, but the reason hasn't been affirmed, however. She sheds a single tear, and inquires them who was dependable. Luca at that point appears her the film of Nick's battle with the man, and inquires Sophie on the off chance that she knows him. To their shock, she lies and says she doesn't. At that point, she appeared in a picture of them together. Sophie, at last, admits that the man is her previous colleague named Curtis Hamilton. She claims they are fair companions and associates, but after her to begin with lie, the criminologists discover it difficult to accept. Later, she returns home and sits all of her family down. She at long last uncovers the kids that their father is not returning home. All of them burst into tears, lamenting Nick's passing. Then, we see Pia at the police station requesting Roshan to let her see her brother's body. However, she isn't permitted to see him until after death. Back within the house, Sophie tells her mother that she was asked around Curtis by the police. When she uncovers that she alluded to him as fair friend, her mother looks at her with disbelief. It is obvious that something was going on between the two. Sophie cries, saying that on the off chance that Curtis is the one who slaughtered Nick, it will be her fault. As they talk, Pia arrives at the house inquiring in case she can rest for the night. Sophie welcomes her but doesn't tell her anything about Curtis. At that point, we appear a flashback of Nick and Sophie's final wedding anniversary. They had a party that they delighted to the fullest. But by the conclusion of it, Sophie gets texts from Curtis that said he cannot stop thinking about her. Sophie's mien changed after seeing the text. That night, she came clean about her 3-monthly long issue with Curtis. Nick was angry at her. Back in the present, Sophie sneaks out of the house and goes to see Curtis. He is stunned to see her but welcomes her in. He recognizes everything happening in Sophie's life and inquires about her in case she's fine. Sophie inquires him why he met Nick without telling her. Curtis answers that Nick messaged him out of the blue and inquired him to meet at the bar. He needed Curtis to tell him each detail of their relationship, who was interested, to begin with, when did they meet each other, and how numerous times they made it or. He claims that by the conclusion of the discussion, Nick assaulted him, but Sophie is suspicious of him. As they talk, the police knock on his entryway and capture Curtis. It turns out they had been taking after Sophie, after she lied about her relationship early. Both Curtis and Sophie are at that point taken to the police station as suspects in Nick's kill. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.